A lovely good morning to you, our viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Of today being the 13th of September 2022, we are here to bring you nothing but the best. I am your host, Miriam Kaimba, and of course, every time I come on this platform, I am not always alone. I'm joined by my beautiful colleague, Zipporah Mshala. Good morning, Zipporah, and how are you?
Good morning, Miriam, and good morning to our viewers. I'm having a wonderful Tuesday.
How is your day going so far?
I'm a bit,
I understand with Mondays, because Mondays coming from the weekend, you always, you want to sleep, but exactly. So how is your Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm ready to work. I think I just need to, if we had the morning boost like those days, I would need to actually shake myself up so that I can
I thought you said last time that you exercise every time in the morning, and I kept that in mind.
Here, that morning boost, to exercise.
I'm sure our viewers out there do exercise at home. Yeah, it's very, very important that when you wake up in the morning, you do exercise, and always just try to keep yourself in check and good health. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and at 7:30, we're going to be joined by the Zambia Youth Association Against Tribalism, who are just going to help us discuss how we can unite as a country beyond tribal divides. I mean, Miriam, we had the Kulamba Kuwalu traditional ceremony, and we saw some traditional leaders like from other parts of the country going there to celebrate.
Yeah.
So that shows the unity that we're now having as a country. And at 8 hours, we hope to be joined by a lawmaker, that's Kalabo Member of Parliament, Honorable Chiutu Miuti. Chiuni Miuti, those names,
I hope you did pronounce it correctly.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about developmental issues there in that constituency. So please do stay engaged with us. But just now we jump into the health corner. And please remember that the health corner is up for sponsorship. We are going to be discussing polio. Do stay tuned in and join us on the other side.
I think you forgot the important part. Exactly at 7:30 hours, we are going to be opening our phone line so that our viewers out there can be part of our conversation and discussion this morning. So let us go direct into our healthy corner and see what the doctors have for us.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Dr. Musole Chipoya. I'm an epidemiologist at the Zambia National Public Health Institute and a member of the Medical Women's Association of Zambia. Today we have a very important topic and something that is very timely. We'll be discussing polio. So as you may have heard, we have a polio outbreak in the neighboring country of Malawi. A case of a 3-year-old female child was diagnosed with wild-type poliovirus type 1. The case is a child who had no history of traveling outside their own country. And this is important to note because we know that this transmission occurred in the child's own country. So we know that the child did not leave Malawi and got infected in Malawi. The child was investigated in December, and the case was confirmed as a case of poliomyelitis in February of 2022. So what does this mean for the region? This means that within the region, the African region, and in particular the sub-African region, we actually do have transmission of this virus in our community. And that is why we have seen that we have had a lot of activities with polio vaccination in the past 2 months. So we had the first round of polio vaccination in March, on the 21st of March, and we just had the previous campaign, which was on the 26th of April. And it lasted for 4 days, which I hope that all mothers actually took their children who are under 5 years of age to get vaccinated. So now we get back to business of what exactly is polio. So polio is a highly infectious disease. Meaning it can be transmitted from one person to another at a very fast rate. one person who has polio has the potential to infect at least 200 other people in the community. And this is very important to note because not everybody that has poliomyelitis or who has been infected with this polio virus is actually going to show signs and symptoms. So some people will have it, but they will not have any symptoms, but they'll be able to transmit that virus to other people. So there are three types of poliovirus, type 1, type 2, and type 3. These are called serotypes. So this is important to note because we'll find that when we take our children for vaccination, which is the only way to protect ourselves against the polio virus, we actually will be given different types of vaccines. So we have the BOPV, the bivalent oral polio vaccine, which is given orally to our children with 2 drops in the mouth. Then we also have the IPV, inactivated polio vaccine. So this is given as an injection. Why is it important that our children get all 4 doses of the BOPV and the single dose of the IPV? It is important because these protect against different types of polio viruses. So the oral one that is given is protecting us against the type 1 and type 3, and the inactivated one, which is the IPV, is protecting our children against the type 2 polio virus. So that is why it is very important that all vaccines are given to all our children for us to say that they are fully protected against the polio virus. So now let's talk about how this virus is actually moved from one person to another. How is it that one can find themselves infected with the polio virus? So when you eat contaminated food, when you drink contaminated water, when you shake the hand of somebody who has the polio virus, maybe on their hands because after using the toilet, they did not use good hygiene practice of washing their hands with soap, then one will be able to get infected with that polio virus. So when that virus is actually in the food or in the water and we ingest it orally, meaning it goes into our mouth, it then starts to multiply, or what we would say in medicine as replicate. So it multiplies in the throat and it also multiplies in the intestines. So when that happens, then it is passed on into the fecal matter, which is the stool. And after that, you're able to continue with either transmitting to other people, causing more infections in the community. So that is what we have on what exactly polio virus is. That gives us what polio is, how it's transmitted, and how it can actually be prevented. So it is important for us to practice good hygiene. After using the toilet, wash your hands with soap to ensure that you are not a source of transmission for this virus to other people. We have children who are at high risk. These are children under 5 years of age who we need to protect. When we are preparing their food, when we are providing them with water, let's make sure that we practice this very good hygiene practice so that we prevent transmission onwards. Okay, so that has been our topic on what exactly is poliomyelitis and how we can prevent poliomyelitis. Again, my name is Dr. Musole Chipoya, epidemiologist at the Zambia National Public Health Institute. Please continue watching Camnet TV. We'll continue with this discussion tomorrow, where we'll be discussing the clinical presentation of poliomyelitis as well as the pathophysiology of how this transmission occurs. Thank you very much and have a good day.
So there you have it. I hope you learned 1 or 2 things from the health corner there, where the doctor was talking about polio. And just a reminder again that you can actually come and sponsor the health segment and get visibility for your brand. And just now we take a look at another segment which is also up for sponsorship, and that is the money market. Let's take a look at how our kwacha is faring against major convertibles this morning. So we have the United States dollar, which is buying at 15 kwacha 38 away, selling at 15 kwacha 68 away. The euro, which is buying at 15 kwacha 55 away, selling at 15 kwacha 85 away. The Great British Pound, which is buying at 17 kwacha 94 away, selling at 18 kwacha 13 away. The South African rand, which is buying at 0 kwacha 19 away, and selling at 0 kwacha 92 away. So there are interested in the US dollar to the kwacha, which is 15.38 away on the buying side, and 15 kwacha 68 away over on the selling side. And so we've seen that these days a number of commodities have been reducing. Talk of mini meal, cooking oil, and various other commodities. But people have expressed concern that the kwacha does not seem to be reducing any further. So they want to see it stabilize, because I'm sure like last week, from last week to now, the kwacha has actually depreciated by a few ways. So that has been a major concern. And just now we'll take a look at one of yesterday's stories, which is a story of an old man from George compound of Matero constituency who was allegedly scammed by some people who sent him a message indicating that he was to send money to another number. Miriam, your thoughts on mobile money scams?
I don't know.
And especially among senior citizens.
It's you know, when I first watched that clip that you did yesterday, you know, I felt very bad. You know, this is an old man, and then his 30 kwacha only has been stolen, and then he's crying like that. Now imagine several other people, and that shows you how high poverty levels are in the country. If someone can cry over a 30 kwacha, you know, you have done stories where a man would leave 10 kwacha for a wife, you know, to prepare a meal and buy all those stuff. So it shows also there's also a need, it tells you that there's also a need to address high poverty levels in the country and see how best we can help our citizens as we move forward. But anyway, it's just a reminder to Zicta that they need to pull up their socks and ensure that, you know, these people are arrested, because it has, over the past few years, months, Zipporah, we have seen that mobile money scammers have increased. You know, and how many arrests have we recorded so far? How many arrests have we been told by the police? How many people have been arrested so far? How many people have been convicted so far? Do we have those records? And this is something that we need to be getting, so that people are motivated that in as much as people are committing this crime, there is a law in place, you know, that is curtailing these people. But if there's nothing happening, people will continue being scammed like that. And this is now the onus for Zicta, you know, to pull up their socks, and the Zambian police to help citizens, because, you know, other people will not even understand. Someone will just tell you, send me money to this number. You know, you won't even understand. Okay, you just send without knowing, innocently. Yeah.
Definitely. So let's just take a look at that story, and remember that just now we officially open our phone line, so you can actually call in and contribute to whatever we're discussing. Let's take a look at that story.
Hey! Hey!
This old man of George compound in Lusaka has been left heartbroken and in tears after discovering that he has been scammed of 30 kwacha by an unknown person on his Airtel mobile money account. While 30 kwacha may seem to be a small amount to some people, Hakim Mawilo, 74, narrates that losing such an amount is heartbreaking for him, as neither he nor his 6 children have any sustainable source of income. This has happened only a few days after the Zambia police on 8 September 2022 nabbed 11 people in connection to stealing money from mobile money accounts after stealing their phones and tampering with their personal identification numbers, commonly known as PIN codes. Mr. Mawilo says he received a message stating that he should send money to a number provided in the text message he had received, as the number of the message sender was problematic and could not receive money.
So lelo futhi asatuma phone atinda mokatumile basikama kamba chani yoko nomba ivichishibe imbi kuti mufoni yemo ilika tuishi Shachitrita, Limbi Nintrita, Paneshin, Shanganaka Wadara. So could the Mafarisha Mikutu Asango. Ati Nakamba, send that money sent to Nakamba because my phone is not working.
While many youths can easily identify such messages to be scams, many senior citizens continue to fall prey to such scams.
Yonda mabai bakulia, elo pan mafuti watu mafoni. Chia mnga sebu ulia wine wajibile ndam. Ashwasha ni jite pini namba yani. Inela kwa tafoni yao kashiwa kwa tafoni. Shiwa mfia wakashiwa ndi phone yao. Na ino nga kufumye ndama hamwezi kima phone. Nombo yo ni nani?
While the Zambia Information Communication Technology Authority ZICTA in a recent interview said they have been sensitizing citizens, the situation on the ground indicates that sensitization needs to be enhanced, especially in communities. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A couple of Lusaka's Chawama compound might have to spend a night in a house without a door after their landlord's son hired some junkies to help him evacuate the couple out of the house they have rented for over 2 years. Jenny Naluyela tells Camnet News that she was phoned by her landlord's son on 28 August 2022, informing her that they needed to evacuate a house which they have occupied for quite some time. The woman laments that she has been looking for a place since she was told to move out of the house, but has been unlucky to find one. She says in the early hours of today, 12 September 2022, while her husband had gone for work, the landlord's son, identified as Bernard Kumwenda, stormed the house with some junkies he had hired to force the couple and their 5 children out of the house.
Last month, August. Ninalipira pa 5. So August ya mene pa 28. Yepa mene manje wanantumira phone ata amke mpundu musakire nyumba. So now that I ask ko munamvera nza sakira. So ine ni nyumba ni masakira. So manje mupende. Last month ninalipira pa 5 na ni malipirira. So ino lero ni September pa 10. So ndrama yanga inasira pa 5. So 5 days nena dosa mopena gona mnyumba mwa watu gona madezi ambili kai nyuma nikaliboy pesa. So manje muona wao aenda muchibolia aleta majanki atali na masando na unachavi mahama masando vikuru na anatapeba ngena example gugu za tuambo tusami pando panchi na vintu awe na mwana naombo tusavintu ni mwana chokera.
Miss Naluyela adds that Mr. Kumwenda walked away with 3,000 kwacha which she had been saving with her husband for a new place they were hoping to find. She has since called on relevant authorities to help intervene in the matter.
Izagona bwandi ndrama nenezo banka kuti bana vanu zati sakire nyumba ndrama nenezo banka yose batenga pombolongola vintu tiba chose 3 pin yose nenezo banka batenga nezafuna kuti nikapeza nyumba nipile in advance 2 months inangu nikuleko bana tokuti pano nipela nguvili vonse ndrama yose batenga Azia atapata tenga ndrama Paspa TV je kuleko longola vintu je manja kuchosa tabedo majanki wacho wamchura ndeza bwe na bana balandroti babiti na mai bao bayimirira bana bachosa dola banzao bamai bali miriji.
Meanwhile, Bernard Kumwenda, when reached for a comment, told this reporter that the premise was this year bought by his father, who is a retired army officer, and that the couple was given enough time to evacuate the premises, but that they have been given excuses that they have not yet found a new place to move to.
So prete sisi futi batazonde utwa chokani mu nyumba ngo tuza chawe nyumba sitaipeze so palastina nibeta tinga bijamanje futi kai.
Authorities have since been called upon to help settle the matter. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Interesting stories there. That just shows you how people are suffering in these communities, in our respective communities. Zipora, when you see from the 2 stories that we played there, first of all, the story from the old man who was scammed 30 kwacha from these mobile money scammers. I really felt bad. I really felt very bad because, you know, as it just shows you how much the man is suffering and how much he needs help, you know, he needs assistance, he needs several people to come on board and help him. That shows you how much high levels of poverty that we have in the country. If you can have people regularly crying over a 30 kwacha. And like I said earlier on, before we played those two clips, I did mention that, you know, it's high time that law enforcement agencies like the Zambia police and also relevant authorities who deal with technology like Zicta, you know, to put in different mechanism and, you know, just help these people.
Definitely.
Exactly. But anyway, coming to the second story there of it happened in Chawama compound where a lady, I think she failed to pay her rentals, and then, you know, the landlord didn't want them in the house anymore, so the only thing was to remove the door.
But then they're shooting themselves in the foot because they have to spend money to have that door put back. I don't even understand. Unless if they're just trying to get even, like, oh, let me punish these people, even if myself, who I have to pay money, because they want to pay money. Have the door fixed back.
But Zipporah, where is the spirit of Ubuntu? I don't think we should reach at an extent of, you know,
because
just removing a door.
Want someone and evict them.
And evict them, yeah. Exactly. But anyway, we have a guest in studio. We have now moved to our next segment, and we have our beautiful guest in studio is coming from the Zambia Tribalism and Youth Organization. She's the trustee, Karen. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am okay. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good morning. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Is it your first time here?
Yeah, coming here is the first time.
Anyway, now at least I'm sure we'll be meeting more often.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So can you just tell us, like, really what caused, what led to you people wanting to come up with such an organization? What was the idea behind everything?
Okay, coming to this conclusion, like we came up as a youth. We are youth of 73 tribes. As you know, the nation, we have 73 tribes. So from there, we formed the group called ZATU, Zambia and Tribalism Youth Organization, of which we've been moving around nationwide, sensitizing from the youths and also many people in villages and so on and so forth. We've seen this vice called tribalism. You know, tribalism is something which is very bad. If it goes into the country, we may end up, the country will be divided. In short, the country will be divided. So coming to that, we have to fight for this. Yes, we are non-partisan, and also we don't make business. We are non-profitable. Yeah, that's the introduction that I can just give you at the moment.
And what is the response that you've gotten from people, maybe when you go out in villages to sensitize, how are people receiving your messages?
People from the villages, also within local, most of them, they are saying, yes, tribalism is there, due to when someone wants to get a job, you find that they say, what tribe are you? Where are you coming from? Your qualifications, so on and so forth. So you find that if in that company, a certain company, they just employ, like, you find there's a certain company, there's only Piri, Mwanza, Banda, what, they're just getting one tribe instead of mixing the tribe. It can be like Tembo, Hamova, what, and what, mixed. So if that thing is not there, meaning tribalism is there. Also in political parties, also is there. Even in marrying, also is there. So if these things like come to an end, meaning tribalism will not be there.
Are we doing enough as a country in preaching about peace and unity and love amongst ourselves so that we unite as a country?
So that's why we've now put into consideration so that if people will be seeing us, because by then we never had to come on air. We were only doing on your Facebook and WhatsApp only. So like for this opportunity, people will be seeing that, okay, tribalism, it's a crime. In short, tribalism is a crime. It's even written in law of Zambia, section, it should be section 70, then panel 70 to code of 87. It's saying that it's a crime. So for us, as we know that tribalism is a crime, definitely we have to stop. So when this stops, meaning the country will be united as one. Yes.
And just our viewers out there, we're discussing bridging tribal divides in the country, or rather uniting beyond traditional differences. And we're joined by the Zambia Anti-Tribalism Youth Association here to just help us discuss the topic. So do call us on the numbers that are scrolling on your screen, or leave us a message on Facebook. Do you think the country is united? Are we living up to the One Zambia, One Nation slogan? Or is it even a political issue? And coming to that, do you feel that maybe politicians are the ones propelling this? Does tribalism really exist on the ground? Or is it maybe politicians who are actually trying to create something which is not even really there on the ground?
I think coming to that, I would say yes. Because most politicians, they are competing. It's not that only one party which is getting the votes. If you, I will just give you a clue on this general election that we had in 2021 last year. It was something else. No, this one cannot stay this, and this one cannot stay. All those, they are the things that bring the country down. What if those people are high, on the high table, they are telling us young ones, saying that, no, vote for these people, vote for that people, vote for this. Meaning they are dividing the country. So why are they saying that it's one Zambia, one nation, when they are saying that, no, vote for these people, they are the one who is supposed to rule the country? Then where is that unite? Where is that peace? So this goes also to politicians. If they are going for campaign, they have to just, no, you just vote for us. No, don't say that, no, vote for this. Everyone has a political party. Like in our organization, everyone has a right to have each and every political party that person wants. Because we're only there to cast a vote. So when someone is voting, you don't know what that person is voting for. But we don't have to preach that, no, me, I love this party because of it's my tribe. Me, I love this party because of Nichimbuya. No, I love this party because of this. No. So that's how it's supposed to be. So mostly it's political parties. They have to also to come together to preach peace, not to like dividing the country into two. Same as, for example, I'll give you like example, Tonga and Roses. They call each other Nipachimbuya. Then if these people start fighting, doing some other things and other things, do you think that the country will be like united? So if these people come together and discuss concerning tribalism, meaning the country will be fine. Because as youth, we are preaching the tribalism, but if those people on top, they are the one now destroying us youths, do you think us youths will take up from there? We will say, no, it's a habit, but wow, it's a crime. It's even written in the law of Zambia.
Now, during the previous elections, we had a lot of politicians who, even now, if I just go on Facebook, I just Google this person, I'll find, no, they said this, they said that, I'll find those videos. Yes. And no action has been taken. Are you pursuing such as an NGO?
Yes, we've done that. We've taken some cases for Dorasiria and Bizo Mtade and also Mr. Kamburi. They are just quiet. Even now, we haven't yet any response from the HQ, the head office. But
as civil society, are you uniting maybe to make sure that there's this pressure mounted on the police for action to be taken?
They are just telling us, no, wait a little bit.
I'm saying for as civil society, maybe are you working with other civil society or we actually do have we have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, please.
Well, fine, thank you. Kindly tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and you can contribute.
Yeah, am I clear?
Yes, yeah.
We can clearly get you. You're very clear.
No, we can hear you.
We can get you. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, my contribution is from Manila.
Okay. It's good to know that Manila is watching.
Yes, please. I've applied the objective of those young ladies. I think if such works are to perform the job of the country, and then they go around to take the new generation, the generation that is coming up, what we are experiencing now will be there. There is also a tribalism that has been created in our country. And you know what is tribalism? There is no development. tribalism, there is a lot of hate. And that's the artificial nation. You're supposed to be love. But love is tribalism, meaning there is a hate. And how can we say something that will be able to help? So I think those young ladies should be encouraged so that we have that growth. So our country is our own country. We shall not live anywhere else. This is the only country that we shall continue living. So I would just like to have those young ladies coming up with. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So that was just a comment from one of our callers, just just giving an emphasis on the need for people like you, your organization, coming on board and educating people and encouraging people, preaching about ending this thing we call tribalism amongst our people in the country. Your thought, maybe your comment on that before we move to our next question. Adding your voice on what our caller said.
Coming to what he has said, yeah, it's true. And also, we have to also come together to fight for this, the same also called vice tribalism. Because it's not only here. We may be seated that everything is okay here within Lusaka, but we don't know what is happening outside. So that's why we emphasize that wherever they are, we have to stop preaching the word of tribalism. Stop tribalism due to it will create more chaos in our nation. Yes.
And what do you think is causing, or what do you think may be leading to police not acting on these cases? I mean, we've heard of people being reported in, or maybe insulting another politician, in Kulu, and all that they've been caught. But like you said, you reported these people a long time ago. But we've not heard them being someone saying you are reported for this, come and answer. What do you think?
Getting the action into, we may not know what is getting them back. We don't know. But there's a certain person way back when our late Mr. Simata passed on. He said that we cannot take this action because of we are scared of a certain political party. So they were like,
that was before the elections.
Yes, before the elections and after the elections.
Have you followed now that we have you followed up with the same issues, the same cases?
Yes, we've been making the follow-up. The director did, but we haven't yet received any clue from now. So we are still waiting for them.
How often do you conduct this sensitization when you go across the country, countrywide, to people in the villages, in rural parts of the country, and in Lusaka as well? Just in, we have another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Fine, thank you. You're through to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Who are we talking to this morning?
Okay, my name is Vikram. From there. We are about to contribute regarding the topic which we are discussing.
Please go ahead.
Yes, for what my sister there is telling us as youth, I think it's very, very, very important, and we should pay attention to listen very carefully about what she really tries to talk to us, especially as young people. We are the cause of all these things. Sometimes we need to break politicians so that these are the same people manipulating us as young people, but also as we need to stand against those politicians which preach tribalism. For example, when we had the election last year, we have been seeing people preaching tribalism. We have seen people even being arrested, especially one of the former patriotic people that appearing on the issue of tribalism. As youth were on the forefront of giving solidarity to a person who was preaching hatred to divide this country. So as youth, we need to resist it from being used by the politicians. And you know that in some systems, there's also some chiefs who are also part of that kind of tribalism. So as youth, what I can encourage my fellow youth is so that if we see any party preaching tribalism, let's come together and unite so that we set them tribalism. Not when someone is preaching tribalism, you are happy. You see? So as youth, it's very, very important to see that as you go to the youth now, that themselves to be part and parcel of continuity of tribalism.
Thank you so much.
Your response to the caller.
I would like to say thank you for your contribution. I think he understands how tribalism would destroy the nation. I really appreciate for the, yes.
And basically, one of the things that I got from the caller is that, you know, it's, as your organization, you know, you bring on board young people, youths, you know, to come and talk about tribalism. It's a rare fact that you would see young people coming together and talking about such things, you know. So your thoughts on the need for young people to come on board, you know, and talk about this?
I would just add on this, because, okay, in short, if tribalism, the main issue here is tribalism. If tribalism, okay, let me just put it in short. If someone is caught preaching tribalism, they have to sentence that person to 2 years imprisonment. Then, if also us as youths, we are preaching tribalism, meaning there will be division on ourselves. We'll be just saying like, no, this tribe is for this tribe is for this. So even that unit, peace and love for the nation will not be there. As our motto for, you know, our nation is one Zambia, one nation. So meaning if we as also youth contribute when teaching tribalism to our fellow young people, meaning love will not be there, peace will not be there. There will be just a conflict, growing, whatever, what will be there. Yes.
Even as we get towards the conclusion, what do you feel is the solution for Zambia in terms of ending tribalism?
The solution for that is we just have to stand strong, all Zambians, as we are all one Zambia, one nation. We have to be strong. We have to fight for this vice called tribalism. Tribalism is very bad. If that tribalism come into our nation, meaning the division will take place. Also, even I will just give you an example of marrying. We had our parents saying.
Hello, good morning. You're through to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Who are we talking to this morning?
Good morning, thank you, Chola speaking. But your room is very noisy.
We can still clearly get you. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, but I'm getting terrible feedback. Okay, as I said, Chola speaking. Yeah, that's a bit better. Let me tell you the history of the so-called tribalism, because I've seen all of you quite young and I think you don't understand the nitty-gritty, how everything up to this side. So the first few points I'll ask you, are you all in Lusaka?
Are you able to keep your contribution under a minute?
I'm asking,
Yes,
are you in Lusaka?
we are in Lusaka.
Do you know the language for Lusaka province?
Yeah.
No.
Hello?
Please go ahead with your contribution. We are getting you. Hello? Okay, seems we lost that caller before, but
It's not a lecture kind of right, but I think we're kind of running out of time, isn't it?
yeah.
So I'm sure I can just give you concluding remarks on the whole issue.
Okay, my conclusion will be we just have to stop. Also, even in marrying, like thing, like for example, I'll just give you a parent at home. We say, don't get married to a Tonga man, or don't get married to a Lozi person, or Chewa, or what. But we also, one thing that I've observed, Mr. married someone who is not from the tribe. Should be Mr. Yes, it's one of the political party. Yes, he married someone who is not in his tribe. So that's
So it should be
also,
encouraged.
yes, we should also encourage that, so that people may come together, unite as one.
All right, thank you very much for having joined us here on Said. I'm sure our viewers out there have also learned one or two things, and you can just hear from the contributions that were made that everyone agrees against ending. Everyone agrees that tribalism should be ended, and so you can actually wonder, Miriam, where these things come from. But thank you very much for your contributions, and I'm sure again we'll invite you next time.
Exactly.
Just now we take a short break as we get ready to welcome Kalabo Member of Parliament Chiutu Miyuni, who's just going to help us discuss various issues, among them ending charcoal burning in the rural areas of Zambia. So do stay tuned in after this break.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
What began as a small vision, today it's become a big vision.
Camnet TV 10/6. As we celebrate this day, we say thank you to our viewers and clients for the support and making sure Camnet TV is your #1 station. A new chapter has started as we give you nothing but the best in our programming and reliable news Camnet TV offers through our dedicated management and staff members.
When God is within us, there is nothing that we cannot do.
Happy 60th anniversary. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
We celebrate for all you've done. Lord, we give you all the praise. Oh, we testify. We celebrate for all you've done. Lord, we give you all.
Coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for still staying tuned to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. We move on to our next segment, and in studio we are joined by Kalao Member of Parliament, Chinga Miyutu, who is going to help us discuss creating local solutions to Zambia's problems. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, madam.
It's good to have you on set.
Thank you. I appreciate also.
How is Kalao?
Kalao,
and the people there, the environment and everything.
Kalao is fine. Kalao is an excited group of people, and that we are in a new dawn. There's light at the end of the tunnel. So people are very expectant of the results of the new dawn government. So they're fine, despite the high temperatures of the weather, but we're okay. Yes.
And just to viewers out there, remember that you can call on the numbers that are scrolling on your screen, or leave us a message on Facebook on the topic that we're discussing, which is creating local solutions to Zambia's problems. And Honorable, maybe just to begin, we know that Kalao is rich in cassava, that's maize, and as well as fish. So really, have we seen this thing, for example, have we seen cassava being maybe developed into something else? Is that value addition right now, or maybe as a member of parliament, are there plans to actually come up with maybe processing plans to further develop cassava and all that, to make sure that it's not just cassava being grown on a subsistence level, but that it actually contributes to the country's development?
Thank you very much for that question, which is also an observation and a concern. I would like to give this background that it's true that we grow cassava, we grow millet and part of maize. We also grow rice, but on the aspect of cassava, it needs empowerment in all endeavors related to cassava production. First of all, I would want to state that in terms of our soils, yes, they could have been producing cassava, but they have reached a point where the production of cassava has gone down because of the sand type of soil. Why do we say sand type of soil? The fertility of that soil has gone extremely low, and it needs great measures of how to improve the fertility of that soil. For me, from my observation point, that's the main concern.
And how, like, what has caused this? Is it soil erosion? Is it a matter of people not doing crop rotation? And how best can we actually make sure that the soils retain the fertility?
One of the contributing reasons or factors is the nature of our farming methods. We adopt the traditional type where we cut let me say the chitemene, the so-called, yes, the so-called chitemene, where we, in preparing our fields, we cut the trees, then we burn, and then we plow, we sow the seed. I think that has contributed to the great reduction of soil fertility. The extent of damage caused by fire to the soil has made the soil lose its fertility. So unless we change our mode of farming, we move away from the chitemene, where we burn and plant, and move into measures like crop rotation, conservation farming, that is what can make a production of cassava improve, because then the fertility will have also improved. So the government, for us, we need the government to intervene through extension services. You know, we are not so commercial, so we don't have commercial farmers there who might have engaged the extension officers. So all the extension officers or extension services are expected to be provided by the government. So the number of our extension officers also in the past years has gone down. So you'd find that many areas, many farming blocks, farming zones, they don't have extension officers. So the villagers or the people are just doing it on their own.
So since we are discussing creating local solutions to Zambia's problems, for example, the area which is rich in cassava, agriculture and fish farming could actually maybe have these things on a large scale. Do you feel that maybe having these extension officers could be the missing link to the production actually reaching its full potential in Calab?
I would do.
Or is it just extension officers, or what else?
I would on the spot say yes. You know, where there's no knowledge, things can't improve. So those extension officers are there to provide knowledge. Knowledge could be the new inventions, new methods, which could have been practiced elsewhere and then introduced in your area. So that's why I really emphasize on the extension officers. Because if we are only to use our traditional methods, the traditional methods have led to the depletion of fertility to that soil. So, meaning the incoming of extension officers will be a great advancement in the production of cassava.
Have you tried to, you know, engage other methods or means or ways on how you can help the farmers? In line that you do notice that you do not have extension officers.
Let me also put it across. Sometime back during the reign of, should be MMD, we also received two things which are spectacular. One, for the first time, the farmers were able to receive lime, agricultural lime. Two, farmers were able to receive new varieties of cassava. So new stocks were introduced. But these stocks could have been gotten out of existence due to drought. We also faced drought there. So because of drought, you would find that much production is affected. So 2019 there was drought. So you'd find that many plants, many cassava plants, they got dry. They withered and dried. So meaning there's need to enhance, to restock, I would say maybe restocking the farmers with the new cassava planting stocks. Yes. So in short, what other measures we can do? Currently, with the new dawn, we are going to look at it in this way. The CDF, I'm going to talk about the CDF because the amounts have increased. So that increase, we are going to take advantage of that increase to tap into different sections of our communities. Could be rice farmers, could be cattle owners, could be cassava growers. We have to work together with them. One way of working together with them is encouraging them to make cooperatives. Because when they form those cooperatives, it would be easy to help them financially so that they can now be able to increase the coverage in their farms. Two, even this issue of fertilizer, the fertility of the soil, because they will be able to procure and be part of the FISIP program. So they are able to get the fertilizer, which they can use in their farms. They will also be able to get the new planting stocks for cassava, because now they will have the financial means to do that. So those are certain measures which we have to put in place if we are to see cassava production. And not only cassava, but even other crops. 2 weeks ago, we handed over a tractor to a cooperative a block of cooperatives. So the idea was that now they move away from plowing using hand hoes to mechanized farming. So we are hoping that through mechanized farming, improvement of quantity production will increase. So all the economic outputs of that incentive which the government has provided will bring to the tables of us in Karabo the improvement of food supply and economic returns into the farmers' pockets. So these are certain measures which are intended to be in practice. Yes.
When it comes to the response about people coming up and forming cooperatives, how has it been in your area so far?
It was not good. You know where we are coming from? We are coming from a period where people used to receive requests from the government. No, form cooperatives, form groups, then you are funded. So they used to make those groups, but they never used to get funded. So when this new dawn came in with this enhanced CDF, we went out into all the wards trying to encourage the people to come up with these groups. But they used to say that this is what used to happen in the previous regime. So we have spent too much money and nothing has come out forth. But now, because the issue is practical, those who are waiting to see what will happen have seen that some of the groups have started receiving those monies. So now, we are seeing now the numbers of cooperatives rising because they have realized that the government is not lying to them. So we are hopeful by next year, the numbers of cooperatives will have increased so much. And we are hopeful also that even in the next budget, the amounts of CDF will also increase. So the increase in this CDF will also help these farmers either to extend their fields and then increase the production. Yes.
And in case you're just joining us, we're discussing creating local solutions to Zambia's problems. So you can call on the numbers that are scrolling on the screen. How best do you feel Zambia can create solutions to its own problems? So you can call us or leave us a message on Facebook. And actually you have a message here, Honorable, from one of our viewers on Facebook who says, is there hope for Zambia to stop being over-dependent on the developed world? So maybe from your area, like what you're doing, one day are we going to reach that level of self-sustainability? So is there hope for Zambia to stop being over-dependent on the developed world? Your response to the viewer?
Given in line that you have spoken about your province, you know, being good in these agricultural areas, you know, sectors, and, you know, developing these different type of crops, which we can later on export to other countries and then, you know, generate revenue. So do we see that in the near future?
I would answer straight away saying yes. Why do I say yes? You know, there's mere talk, and there's what they say, walking the talk. Now, the current government is walking the talk. We cannot develop our own on our own. We can develop ourselves without one, finances. Because those people don't have the means. They don't have the financial means. So because there's financial means, these farmers will be able to expand their fields. Even the rice production. There are two things. We need to have water for that rice to be produced. We also need to have a fertile land. But because of this financial enhancement which is coming in, it's going to enable these farmers to be able to stand on their own. So because of the ability the local farmers will have, Zambia can reach a point of being self-dependent. But if it was just a mere talk where nothing is offered as a starting point, what they call capital, I think then you would be saying it will just be a mere talk. But currently, we wouldn't say it's a mere talk because we have a number of clubs, like in Karabo.
We have a call, Honorable, so you can just hold a minute. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, I'm through to the breakfast show. Can you tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and you can give your contribution?
Yes, 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 good morning,
Good morning, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm from the my dear, the
Mane. Tuakande lako. Mane. Mane. Eyo. Tuakande atuwawosha.
Yeah, is that a contribution? Or maybe
Yes.
I don't want to go that. Yeah,
those are encouragements. Huh?
Okay.
Okay,
That's
what was,
Bunda.
maybe you can break it down.
Maybe you can break it down for our
What he
viewers.
was saying was thanking the MP for that area, for having
Which area is that?
the same Kalavo.
Your area.
Yes.
He's coming from Kalavo. He's from
So he's
Kalavo.
appreciating the services that the MP in that area is doing, is offering to the people, and is happy with the developments which are taking place in our constituency. In short, that's what he was expressing.
Okay.
Talking
Yes.
about development, what are some of the developmental agenda that you're currently taking, currently targeting in your constituency?
Yes, we have those programs which are pending, and we have new programs which we want to implement. Which are these pending programs? We have one. Each district must have a youth resource center. A youth resource center is like a trade school where youths are trained in various skills. That project has stalled, and we are still waiting for it to be, so that the huge number of youths in Karabo can have access. The other pending program, which is very important, is the connection of Karabo to Skongo, or Zambia to Angola. The Karabo Skongo Road, we call it Karabo Skongo Road, but it extends into Angola. So that is also a pending program. A contractor was on site, but in 2019, due to financial challenges, the contractor had to demobilize, and the program just remained like that. So this is another issue which we want the current government to operationalize. Then what are our programs that are in plan? The programs that are in plan are in two. There are those to be manned by the central government, and there are those we are going to man from the CDF, because now we have that capacity. If you look at Karabo, it has a challenge of feeder road connectivity. It's another problem. So we have in our own local, we have roads
Just
which
hold your
are,
thoughts there, Honorable. We have a caller.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
We are fine, thank you. You're through to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Who are we speaking to this morning?
You are talking to Mr. Mapeja with your farmer in Chibombo.
It's good to know that Chibombo is watching. Please go ahead with your contribution, sir.
If I could, to make your soil fertile, the people who are talking, these ministers, these MPs who are educated, should tell the people what to do. They have cattle in their homes, they have cattle in your village, can develop your soil. The manure from your cattle, take it to your field.
Then you take your field. That's what is important. Don't look at the government to help you develop the soil. No.
Thank you very much for contribution there.
My contribution is the manure from their cattle to change their soil, not the government to change their soil. No.
Yes, we have gotten that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So I think, Honorable, there the viewer is saying Kalabo, due to the potential that it has, should actually come up with its own alternatives. For example, where you use cattle manure to actually make the soils fertile. Is that something that is attainable?
Is it something that you have thought of? Yeah, exactly.
To make sure the ground is fair. Or maybe really, actually, do we have to go back to organic farming? Is it like maybe we've seen this talk on recent talk, people are saying the use of fertilizer or the abuse of fertilizer is actually contributing to soil erosion. So I'm sure some people in your constituency are also beneficiaries of the FISI program. So do you feel that maybe apart from traditional methods, has fertilizer also contributed? Should we, or maybe should you consider organic farming? Or maybe just your response to the all.
Yes, so I would do, I agree with the viewer's suggestion and observation. That's why I emphasize on the point of extension officers. You know, when there's no knowledge, what he's talking about is a piece of knowledge. So that piece of knowledge needs to be imparted into someone so that this person can apply that observation. Then depending on the results, if the results are positive, that observation will be enhanced throughout the community. So when you have the extension officers, these are neutral people. You know, villages, the way they are set, they are not like a compound. Villages are originated from clans. It's a group of people, blood related. That's how they build those villages. So you need a neutral person, like a councillor, you like an MP, like an extension officer, to visit these people and bring in these knowledge, pieces of knowledge so that those people can apply. Where we are coming from in UNIP, there used to be what we call farm training centers. What are those farm training centers? Those were institutions which the government deliberately created so that farmers would be invited. When they are invited, they go. Those agriculture officers will demonstrate to the farmers all these farming techniques and methods. Even the new varieties of crops would be shown at the farm institute there. So when the farmers go back to their villages, they will carry that information and they will start applying it in their fields. So what he's saying is true, but we need enhancement. We need that awareness. Cattle, currently, if you look at the disease scope, we still have that problem of CBPP. Last year we had foot and mouth. So, you know, these diseases, they keep on killing our animals. Like I've already told you that we live in a traditional life. So this tradition, to them, many of them, they would want to look at the animals without thinking of helping themselves, maybe to buy drugs, so that they are able to keep the diseases away from their animals. So the animals keep on dying. So the number of animals is reducing. So the number of people who have animals also is reducing. So even when you want to apply the manure, few people will have the manure. It's true that not everybody has the animals in Kalab. Some they don't have. But it's just a name that we have animals. So we have to have these extension officers who become like middlemen between the reservoir of knowledge and the receiver of knowledge. Yes.
Maybe just finishing your line of thought before we received that caller on some of the developmental projects that
yes, I was saying we need to have improve on our education system. Our education had gone down in the sense that there were no new structures. Community schools were being created, supported by the same community members themselves. It was just pole and mud, then you put grass there, that's all. So when people are going to school, they get educated. So we have a program to come up with the permanent structures in all the community schools, those new schools which have been provided for by the community through self-help. So we need to put in permanent structures. We also need to improve, to assist the central government through the enhanced CDF to improve on the number of health facilities. Our health facilities are few. So people travel long distances to fetch health services. So because of that, we also face a number of challenges with our mothers when it comes to delivery. We have lost a lot of women in the process of going to hospital to deliver. By the time the ambulance moves from the bomb to reach the side, the clinic, the woman will be found, the mother will be found to be in a bad state, and eventually we have lost a lot. So we need to improve on the number of health centers and zone posts in our constituency, so that people get the health service near. We also need to look at, we have crossing points which we need to work on. Those small ones where we need to put culverts. We need to improve on that. There's also a major problem of feeder road connectivity. Even when we are talking of improved agriculture production, we need to have the feeder roads. Karaba has never seen any gravel road. So we are requesting the government to come in with these feeder roads so that people are able to transport their goods and agriculture products to the market, and also the buyers are also able to travel to the farming areas to buy the products that they want. So feeder road also is another issue. For example, we need to connect, there's a stretch from the Boma stretching to a place called Shuku. This road was done under the Cashew program. So it was 10 kilometers. We are still remaining with another 10 kilometers to reach the end of that stretch of villages. We also need to connect the far southern part of Karabo, where we also have farmers.
Just hold your thoughts, Honorable. We have a caller.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
We are fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine.
Who are we talking to this morning?
This is Kumar from Livingston.
It's good to know that Livingston is watching. Please go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Yes, first of all, Zambia needs a revolutionary leader. From Molesi up to now, Western province have been left behind. The main problem is the kind of leaders that Western province is producing. Selfish members of parliament. They are very selfish. All they need is themselves, but they leave the masses behind. You see, I also come from Western province. I am from matrimonial village of Nyambi, that is after Wampa. I always drive there. The roads in Western province are deplorable. This story of just saying no, the previous regime. Why can't you talk about Olympics? Why can't you talk about unity? Because those issues of roads, sandy roads, since the center was born, most of the constituencies in Western province, especially Nyambi, where I come from, I've never seen a grader. The last time when I drove myself there into my maternal village of Nyambi, children were trying to see a vehicle. So please, UMC, stop this issue that you always do. When a government comes in, you just put it. It is your duty. You are now representing the people. Push the government. For example, like you, Mr. Muchinga, you are there. You are UPNP. Now, what you have to do is push
so much. Just in line with the comments there from our viewer there, it brings me to my next question. We have spoken about, you know, there's need to improve healthcare service, there's need to you know, to construct roads. What are you doing as the area member of parliament for Kalabo to ensure that these things are done on time? Are you, when should people in your area start seeing these to being, you know, being fulfilled?
I would like to say thank you to the viewers and the comment that he has given. It's true that MPs have to change their working style. But there are certain issues which we can't handle as an MP. For example, it's not easy for an MP to construct a road. Which means are you going to use to construct a road? Where are you going to get the money to construct a road? So these are certain things which also people need to bear in mind, that the job of the MP is to lobby the central government to provide the financial resources which are required to bring about these activities in our areas. So I would like to state that areas like Kalabo, I have already mentioned that we have never seen a gravel road. Truly, all what we have there are earth roads. Our vehicles make the roads themselves. There has been no attention from the central government. So that's why certain things, they have to be a baby of the central government. Because a road is one of the big capital projects which cannot be undertaken by a single-handed person. So we will place such tasks on the central government. We have presented to the Ministry of Local Government 2 to 3 roads that would want the government to work on. So the government has also responded that we are desirous to work on these projects, but we are yet to find out how we are going to manage to get the financial need to do these activities. So these are certain things which us as backbenchers can't delve in, because we are not mandated, we are not in the cabinet, we are not. So we are also lobbying from the central government, and we are relying on the responses. So the responses, with what we are seeing, we are heading somewhere. Why? You know, certain constituencies and certain districts, a district which has 2 or 3 constituencies, you can combine your resources and get a grader. You can combine your resources and get those earth-moving machines. But the situation we have in Kalabo is that Kalabo is made of 2 constituencies, Kalabo Central and Liwa. Now, the Liwa part is on the plain. So you would find that it's not easy to make those roads there, because part of the air it's completely flooded. So we have to come up with some measures amongst ourselves as MPs and constituents, how we are going to work together so that we can either, one, procure earth-moving machines from the CDF. If that can't work, then the only thing we have to do is to rob from the government, because a constituency alone, using that fund, even the guidelines again, they don't allow. We are only allowed to use that money on small programs like construction of buildings, but not making roads. So these are certain things which I feel, because of the, you know, this change which has come, these problems, some of them will be gotten rid of, because the means is there. We have the means. So we are going to combine our forces and do it. Yes.
And let's talk about issues of charcoal burning, because most rural areas of the country have got this problem. How are you maybe educating your people in your constituency against charcoal burning, and really are you helping to find alternatives to charcoal burning?
It's true, charcoal burning is a bad sketch, and it is it's rising. It's not only here in town where you see charcoal. Even
it's actually one of the main economic activities in this area.
So even in Kalab, we have also a group of people, a section of people that engage into charcoal production. That's why we encourage them now to come to form up cooperatives, so that when they form these cooperatives, the reason why they make charcoal, one of the reasons is an economic activity, so that they get money. Now, if the reason for burning charcoal is to get money, which is the same money which they can get when they form a cooperative, so that they venture into agricultural activities like vegetable growing, rice growing, chicken keeping, goat keeping, it will still give them money. That's what we are doing to the communities, encouraging them to form up cooperatives so that they are funded. Then they move away from the sketch of charcoal burning.
Have you done any sensitization? I know it can be hard for people to adopt when they're used to certain kind of business, given the fact others would even claim that, you know, charcoal gives me a lot of income and I'm able to take care of my kids and send them to school. But have you done enough sensitization to ensure that in as much as you are bringing these new projects, these new suggestions for them to venture in, they are ready and prepared to adopt to those things?
Let me not say we. I do interact with the people. I live with them. So, I'll give an example. A club consisting of 10 members gets 11,000 kwacha. How easy is it for a single person to sell charcoal, which will give him or her 11,000 kwacha? So, it's like charcoal burning, yes, it might lie to the doer that it's a means of getting money. But forming a cooperative and getting empowered is more beneficial than burning charcoal. So I'm sure by the end of this year, those who have seen other clubs benefiting, they are going to follow. So we are hoping this trend to continue, and then charcoal burning can somehow reduce and minimize.
But then not everyone can really benefit from cooperatives. Like in terms of even just the whole country, not everyone can benefit from cooperatives. So maybe are there any programs you plan to put in place to make sure that these people are sensitized, and really like what alternatives can they have? What of maybe affordable sources of alternative energy can be there, can be put in your constituency, for example?
Yes, there was a gentleman who talked of the cattle manure. There's also biogas. We have an organization which has started sensitizing people in the villages, those who have animals, so that they go into biogas production. There's a ward where there's Mr. C.D. Neta. The home of Mr. Neta is using biogas. So the issue of burning charcoal with him is not there, even fired. So these are certain activities which are already on the ground because they are visible. And when they will see the results, a number of people will go into biogas so that they have these local, instead of going in the bush to cut firewood, they just use the cow dung to produce the gas, which they are able to use to warm the water and cook their food. So that's how charcoal burning can be reduced when they see the results of biogas. The other issue is that when we sensitize them on climate change also, we do talk to them on climate change, that there's a connection between rain and the trees. Though it's not an easy concept to understand, but there are few, those who are the children who are growing in the villages from grade 9, grade 10, I'm sure they will come to understand that there's a connection between trees and rain. And the effect of burning trees means reducing the amount of rain, which will later affect our farming programs. So these are continuous programs. We hold meetings every time Whenever we are in the constituency, we hold meetings. And in these meetings, sometimes I invite government officers to attend the meeting so that they are able to talk to the people, giving them the information. Okay, we can't expect a quick response that everybody must come to agree to that point. But slowly, we are heading towards that as we continue sensitizing the communities. Yes.
And let's talk about issues of early marriages and teenage pregnancies in your constituency. How is the situation? Are people going to school? Has the issue of teenage pregnancies reduced? How is the overall situation?
I would want to... there was a comment on one of the viewers who was saying, no, we keep on referring to the last regime, the former regime. Yeah, you know, that saying is not easy to get rid of it. Early marriage and teenage pregnancies, they are there. Because when children grow without going to school, there's no activity that is occupying them. So what happens with the mindset? Yeah? Children must grow whilst at school. So that when they grow at school, the teachers teach them. Whilst they are being taught, they are growing. Two things are happening. They are growing whilst they are being taught at school. So that when they become adults, they are educated people. But our people used to fail to go to school. So when they fail to go to school, they go back into the village. When they go back into the village, they go to the traditional life. Traditional life, people long time ago, they used to marry each other at a very early age. So because of that, early marriage has existed. But I'm hopeful that due to this free education which has come, there won't be any boy or girl who will fail to go to school unless himself, herself, and the parent don't just like. Because that which used to stop them from going to school, they have been abolished. No more fees. So what will make them fail to go to school? So what we are saying, as they continue going to school, the teenage pregnancies might reduce, and the early marriages also might reduce. The other issue is that we do engage village indunas so that they talk to their subjects. Because as they talk about it, yesterday we were just from a meeting which was organized by Plan International. And the subject there was the same thing of teenage pregnancy and early marriages. So the village indunas and the chiefs, they are also helping in making this vice known to people that we should get rid of teenage pregnancies and early marriages. So these are efforts which are, they might not yield fruits today, but they are efforts which we are applying in our communities. Every day we talk about them.
Don't you think it would be unfair of you right now to, put a blame on the previous administration, claiming that they did not put much emphasis on addressing issues of early marriages and teenage pregnancy? If earlier on we saw that they used to advocate for that.
We have a caller. Sorry.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, thank you.
You're through to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Who are we talking to this morning?
The president of Camnet.
It's good to know that Kawa is watching. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, my contribution is that the free education issue should not be overemphasized. We should not make people irresponsible to have children they can't take to school. You can't just have children, then you want to the government. That is a very big government. I'm carrying away to plan their family. How many people are you going to support? It doesn't make sense. You have children, it is a responsibility to government to educate them. No. Meanwhile, the book of teachers to do free education back. Do not use one second to bring their money. Even people having children anyhow, just the government to educate them.
have rejected them and keep them. And we should accept them and give them not education, just leading the nation. Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you so much. Maybe as you respond to the caller, you can also
saying that, Miriam.
you can respond to my question as well. I don't know who told him that you know, it's no need for you to have more children because there's free education. But anyway, as you respond to that comment, maybe you can also respond to my question where I said, don't you think it will be unfair for you to put a blame on the previous administration, saying that they did not advocate or put much emphasis on addressing issues of early marriages and teen pregnancies?
Thank you very much. It would be wrong for me to say candidly that the previous regime did not do much. But there was a tendency of children failing to complete school. It was there. Many of our boys and girls could fail to go to school because they were required to pay fees. And these fees, you know, us who live in villages, in a village, it's not easy to organize money. Where we are coming from a UNIP regime where there were subsidies, there were coupons. So these tendencies are still in our minds. So when governments come up with the, well, not government one, but when schools come up with levies and fees, to those who feel that education is too much to be bought, they will not provide the funds and their children won't go to school. I'm not blaming, but I'm just saying a number of our boys and girls failed to go to school. If you go to the schools in Zambia, I don't know other parts, but in Kalavo, the enrollment in every school has increased. And to me, that is an encouragement because our children now will be able to receive their education. And receiving this education, it's the same that the viewers are saying that no, it's not producing children. This is why people should go to school, so that they learn that family should be planned. You know, me, I started work. After starting work, it took me 4 years before I had my firstborn. So people were wondering, why are you not having children? Because I had that knowledge which I got from school. So that's why we want people to go to school, so that they get that family planning methods. Then we are going to control our population, such that even the government, when it's going to offer free education, it's going to offer a free education to a small group of people. It's true, because if there's this explosion of population, even the free education might fail, because the funds won't be enough. So, but it's not blaming, madam, that I'm saying the last regime did. No, I'm not blaming. I'm just referring to them that this is what we used to observe. You know, one time in 2020, I had a meeting in a ward at a polling station called Lishoe. After the meeting, a grandmother of some girl came to me, said, Mr. Milton, I have this daughter, a granddaughter of mine. She needs 450 kwacha for her to go to school. You see? So why? It means that 450 kwacha was a barrier to that girl who would have wanted to go to school. But because of the non-availability of that 450 kwacha, she could not proceed with the school. So that's why we are saying, let these people go to school, as we have this government which is providing free education, so that they get the rightful knowledge at school of family control and reducing the number of people in their families. Yes.
As we come to the end of our show this morning, what are some of the things that you are promising the people of Kalao that you will do as their area member of parliament, as you also target other projects that are already in line or in place?
Thank you very much. I would want to encourage, one, these groups of workers. One, the contractors in Kalao. I'm urging and requesting all those who are going to get contracts or those who get contracts to build schools and whatever, that they should do these works, one, with time consideration, two, cost consideration, and the value for money. Because they take time to finish up these projects. So I'm urging them and requesting them that they should be working to time. If it is 3 months, the building must come to an end within 3 months. It's completed. So that's one edge. The other edge is to the council workers, because the CDF is being, the implementing agent is the council. So the council workers also, I'm requesting them to do the need. If they need to monitor, the director of work needs to certify some piece of work somewhere, let that director go there, certify, so that this contractor is paid, then the construction comes to completion, and then the people get their service. The other thing I would request is that people in Karabo must be, they must understand that not every problem is going to be solved within a day. We need to have a heart, we need to be patient, so that these problems we have, the problems of feeder road, the problems of health centers, communication challenges, all these one day will be a thing of the past. So this is what I'm trying to encourage the people, so that we work together, we see how we are going to complete our term.
Thank you so much once again for coming to the breakfast show.
Thank you, and I appreciate for Camnet for inviting me to have this forum to interact with you and the public at large.
Anyway, this is where we come to the end of our breakfast show. We were joined in studio by Kalabo Member of Parliament Chinga Miyuti, and we were looking at creating local solutions to Zambia's problem. This is where we come to the end of our program this morning. I was your host, Miriam Kaimba, and my colleague Zipporah Mshala. For us, it's bye-bye, and see you next week, Monday and Tuesday, the same time. But do join tomorrow, Patrick Soko and Sharon Kalimbula, the same time. It's good morning.